Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all the people who are joining from different parts of the world. I know that some of you have already attended some of our events from before with the trainings and talks and seminars which we had before. And we also had a really awesome Capture the Flag event last weekend. So for those who are already a part of ShaktiCon, hope you are enjoying it so far. And we are already at the last 3-day summit of the whole event. And a very warm welcome to everyone else who are new and it's your first time joining one of our events. I'm here to introduce Marion Marschalek. She's the founder of Black Hoodie and works as a senior security engineer at Amazon Web Services, with former experience as offensive security researcher, malware analyst, reverse engineer, with more than 10 years in the field of cybersecurity. And she has spoken at almost all international conferences that I am aware of, including Black Hat, RSA, Troopers, Hacklew. Yeah, that's just in top of my head right now. And she's also in the review boards of some of the prime ones. One of the starting points in her journey is when she won the Female Reverse Engineering Challenge, I think in 2013, which was organized by Halva Flake. Probably she's also going to talk about that in today's talk. And later she founded Black Hoodie for encouraging more women in the field of cybersecurity. I've had the privilege of attending and being part of Black Hoodie for 5 to 6 years, probably even longer. And it's every single event I attend, it's a very enriching feeling that I want to go for more of such events. And it was always my dream that we have something similar in India as well. And yeah, finally, right now, actually, we have ShaktiCon with the support of so many amazing women from Team Shakti and also members of Team BIOS, Amrita University professors and cybersecurity department and so on. ShaktiCon is inspired by the mission of Black Hoodie, and we are extremely indebted to all the support we received from Black Hoodie for running this event. We had a lot of amazing trainers joining us from Black Hoodie, and I take this opportunity to thank all of them for their love and support. So I'm not talking too much. With this, let's get right into the action. And over to you, Marion, the first keynote speaker of the day. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for that introduction. I'm humbled. Hello, everybody. Welcome and good morning to India, or good evening to United States, or good afternoon to Europe, really, wherever you might be. I'm super happy to be here today. I'm super happy all of you are taking the time to listen in. This is an honor to be speaking at ShaktiCon here and to be giving a keynote. I can't even begin to tell you. The title of my talk is how it started and how it's going and why it all matters so much. The organizers of ShaktiCon did an amazing job in putting together a huge event that offers trainings and a CTF and a conference in order to get women in cybersecurity together, in order to help them sharpen their skills, to build a network, to get to know each other, to build friendships. And that by itself is such an amazing support that ShaktiCon just started, but over the years, the ladies will build a network that will attract fresh talent, talented women to the field of cybersecurity. And they will help making them feel comfortable in this field, and they will help fostering their skills and help them foster the network and help them find jobs, find mentors, and find opportunities in this field. Our field, like cybersecurity, is amazing. There is never-ending challenges. The technologies that we're working on are so diverse. We get to work on heartbeat monitors. We get to work on mainframe computers. We get to work on the cloud. We get to work on microarchitecture security. We get to work on all these different fields that offers so many challenges. And with the challenges come amazing jobs that, first of all, there's plentiful. Second, they're through the bank out well paid. They're safe and secure. They offer benefits. They help the engineers who work in those jobs to support their families, to be happy humans. And the situation that we're looking at in the technology field is that most of those amazing jobs are currently held by men. That in itself is occasionally intimidating. So like for lots of us women in cybersecurity, especially getting started is difficult. The field is intimidating. The challenges that I'm talking about, they're not easy. We're not raised to think about logic and mathematics and computers as something that's easy to approach. And hence, lots of us, especially women, look at this field where there's all the boys and all the difficult subjects and think that this is not something that we should pursue. And I think that is bogus. Again, the field has so much to offer, and ShaktiCon is an event that tries to explain this to young women who try to enter that field, that there is a lot of fun to be had in this sphere of cybersecurity, and there's a lot of success to be had. Why am I here today? So I guess I was invited to give this keynote because, let me count, 6-7 years ago, I came up with a very similar concept. I forgot the year now, but in the middle of the 2010s, 2015, let's say, I was at a conference and 2 women snuck up on me, like didn't come crashing into my field of view, but snuck up on me and told me like, hey, what you do there? Like you do reverse engineering, right? And that's super cool. I thought that's very interesting. Could you maybe tell us how to get there, how to learn that? Like, how did you get started and how can we learn that too? Like, oh, that's amazing. Like a tech conference and there's 2 other women and they're interested in what I do. So I told them, let's sit down together and let's talk about reverse engineering. I show you how to do that. And that idea eventually became a workshop. So I invited others as well and ended up with 15 attendees that spent the weekend with me looking at binaries. At the time, I didn't know there were other women in this field who were interested in learning this. So I was like super happy. We spent the weekend together, and lots of those ladies who attended the very first edition of Black Hoodie, I'm still friends with. We found this one difficult subject that we all looked at together, and we enjoyed ourselves doing so. And this experience brought us all a lot closer together. So originally, Black Hoodie was not supposed to be a series or a global undertaking or a conquer the world approach. It was me sitting together with a couple of friends looking at binaries. And from there, I don't know how that happened, but the year after, I did the same thing again. As the first time I put out a blog post and tweeted about me giving a reverse engineering class. And on the second edition, about 30 ladies showed up. And so like, yes, we're curious. We heard about this class of yours and we would like to learn more. And I was again super excited. The year after, year number 3, I did the same thing again and ended up with 67 attendees. Now, those weren't all new attendees. Some of them had been there the years before and were just coming back because they enjoyed spending time with us. And others had heard from their friends that this is a fun event that they should attend as well. And all of a sudden, we have a room full of 67 people. I was shocked. From there, it all kind of started exploding. I say exploding because I mentioned there was never a plan, so there was never any idea of how big we wanted to go, of how our future was supposed to look like. So eventually I sat together with some of the early attendees and said, we can't keep growing like that, like 67 people in one room is just not going to scale. And we came up with the idea of having different tracks. So people who had attended before would be coming back and all became trainers themselves. So we all looked at reverse engineering, but not everybody worked in that field. But everybody who attended the class had their own field of interest. Like we had a woman who was a cryptographer, we had a woman who was into the Windows kernel, we had one who was into compliance, and from there it moved along so that eventually we had a list of trainers who were willing to give workshops at Blackhoodie. Then so it happened that in year 4 and year 5, things literally blew up. All of a sudden we had, I think, 3 tracks with 5 or 6 different workshops. And at some point, was that the event that we had in Berlin a few years ago, we had 300 registrations. 300. I literally lost my mind the day I saw that. And again, we can't actually put 300 people in a classroom or into one event altogether, because scaling is just not what we wanted to do from the start. The idea of Blackhoodie is to stay small in some sense, to be an intimate class where 20 to 30 students can get together. Everybody gets to talk to everybody else, and everybody gets to be friends with everybody else. The more people you have in a class, I think the less personal the experience becomes. So from there, the next best option to scale was not to make the classrooms bigger or make the events bigger, but to have more events. So then around 2017, 2018, I think, Blackhoodie started to spread out. Originally, we were one event per year, and then all of a sudden there were other Blackhoodies popping up. Folks had showed up for a class, like, yes, I want to take this to my hometown, I want to, I don't know, run this in a different country. And initially, I was a little worried. I didn't think that Blackhoodie was going to be that big, and I didn't want it to be something big. It was like my little baby project. But yeah, eventually I was convinced that spreading out wasn't a bad idea. And like the events that I could run myself were still going to be my babies, and the events that other people were starting to run were then going to be their babies, and it turned out magnificently. So the year after, in 2019, I eventually stopped counting, but we had around like 10, between 10 and 15 Blackhoodie events in different cities, in different countries, run by different people, and eventually the whole organization would start running itself. Today, all I do, quite literally, is occasionally post in our Discord channel, and every now and then I give keynotes and tell people about the history of Blackhoodie. And this is how we got here. Again, I'm super happy to be keynoting ShaktiCon today, because ShaktiCon, they picked up this idea. The organizers loved how Blackhoodie was running, and as Priya in the beginning introduced, wanted to have the same concept, like the same kind of event in India. And they did it. They came up with a plan. They have their web platform running. They have all the communication channels running. They organize the trainers, the speakers. They organize the CTF, and they made it bigger and better than Blackhoodie could have ever done. It makes me super happy. That means that I, in the future, have less to do, more events to attend, and yeah, eventually these events, like from my perspective, they will run themselves. Just kidding. Why do we need these events so desperately? ShaktiCon is organized by women for women. Black Hoodie historically was always a women-only event. The idea there is, first of all, to attract women to attend in the first place. I noticed that a lot of the events, even if they're free, like the CTFs that are being run or free trainings that are being given, for me in the past, they were never quite as attractive because I never felt like I fit in. Like, imagine you walk into a classroom and everybody looks different. And as soon as you walk in, all these people look up and stare at you because you look different too. And you sneak in and you get your seat in the back of the room and you sit there and you feel slightly uncomfortable most of the time during that event. And I thought, if we turn this around, if we create a space where we can all feel like we belong, then we can't excuse ourselves from that space anymore. Now that makes sense. So by creating such spaces, by the way, with spaces, I mean space and time for a minority to get together and feel comfortable in an environment that otherwise wouldn't be that comfortable. That holds true for any minority. It's just that I personally know best how women feel in a tech environment. But again, it can be generalized to any minority. Why are these safe spaces so nice? I call it safe space. It's not like in a mixed gender environment, we're constantly threatened, but in a safe space, it feels like we belong. It feels like these events, like these trainings and the CTF, they're organized for us. And if something like that is organized for us, that means we can't not dive into this. If there's any ever so slight interest in cybersecurity, then if there's an event in cybersecurity that's dedicated to this specific minority, in ShaktiCon's case, to women, then we can't put our heads into the sand and turn around and say, not my business. That's what I think makes these events so attractive, and that's why they're so successful in attracting more and more women to this space. Why is it important that we have more women in cybersecurity? So first of all, there's a lot of jobs that need to be filled. I personally know that because my team is hiring themselves, and it is really hard to find good cybersecurity professionals. Then women make up, I don't know, 20% or less of this workforce, but they're 50% of the population. So there definitely is underutilized talent in this space. Then, in the beginning, I talked about the jobs and how nice they are. Now, why is it important that women have nice jobs? I personally think that every woman out there should be able to support herself one or another way. It's all about personal choices as well, but the job security and the cyberspace altogether makes us independent. The nice salaries help us support ourselves and support our families. They help us find secure places to live. They help us live a nice and measured life that in return helps the society we live in a feedback loop. So I don't know how to put that any better. I love that I have a secure job. I love that I have secure income. I love that I can afford my own car and my own apartment, and I do not have to think what am I going to do next month. So that is something that I wish for every woman on this planet, for real. Not only because I'm such a supporter of women, but because I believe that this helps our society as a whole to shine and be happy. Yes. Then the future of these events. Right now, Black Hoodie is taking a bit of a break, you might imagine, because of COVID, but I hope that our events will be back by fall. Black Hoodie generally is very small events. Nowadays, we have like 30 to 50 attendees maximum, which is a very comfortable number. And I'm very much looking forward to get back to in-person events. Then, something that I wanted to talk about today, that these cybersecurity events provide, not only ShaktiCon and Black Hoodie, but in reality all cybersecurity events, is opportunities. What do I mean by opportunities, and why are opportunities so important? So being successful in the field, in any field really, requires dedication, talent, and opportunity. A lot of women I meet in our field are very dedicated. They came to stay. Like, I yet have to find a woman in cybersecurity who landed in this field by accident. Almost all of us look for it. We hear about it at school, or we hear about it from friends or partners, and be like, okay, this is what I want to do. Awesome. So here we are, very dedicated. All of us also have certain talents. So this is like 2 out of the 3 points that I just mentioned we need for success. It's not everybody's thing to go into cybersecurity, but again, there's so many opportunities to go into different directions that it's difficult not to find a job or a task, a direction that fits somebody's talent. Finally, opportunities. What is an opportunity, and why are opportunities so important? An opportunity is being invited to join a project with experienced engineers and being able to contribute and to shine on that project. An opportunity is being invited to speak at a conference. Like, I'm here today. This is a great opportunity to talk to all of you. An opportunity is being invited for a job interview. Being invited for a job interview does not mean that the job is actually acquired, that the person is actually hired, but it is an opportunity. It is an opportunity that lots of us for a long time didn't get because we didn't make it through the screening process, or because we didn't have the right education to approach a certain job, or because we simply thought that we shouldn't actually apply for a given job. These opportunities that I'm talking about, they are crucial. I recently learned that mentoring someone doesn't mean to teach them. Mentoring someone doesn't mean to guide them, and it doesn't mean to do things for them. The best mentorship I've received in my life was having a mentor who pointed me towards opportunities, who told me which project was interesting to work on next, who told me which conference I should attend and which conference I should submit to, who introduced me to other people who could help me solve problems, who randomly placed opportunities on my table, literally one after another. Getting an opportunity shouldn't be so much pressure that you have to pick up every opportunity and write it out to the fullest. But eventually there will be this one opportunity that just sticks out and you go like, okay, this is what I have to do. Then you do it and you succeed, and that success takes you further in life. For me, it so happens that in 2013, I had this amazing opportunity that landed on my table. A coworker entered my room at work and said, look, there is a cybersecurity competition for women. You should have a look and sign up. And I was like, yes, haha, stupid, of course. I had a look at it, and it was a reverse engineering competition for women. At the time, I was working as an analyst at an antivirus company, and reverse engineering was what I thought I was supposed to do. I wasn't doing it at the time because I didn't know how, but that's what I wanted to do. So I looked at this competition and was like, yes, whatever. It's for women. So if other women do this, then I should probably try too. And that was literally the thought process. That's how the original idea of Black Hoodie came up. Why Black Hoodie is women only? Because that day when I saw the challenge, I was like, this is for me. this is my challenge. Okay, so I started that challenge. I spent 2.5 months on trying to figure out how to reverse engineer a binary. I wrote a report, and I ended up winning. That was not coincidence. I put all the life energy I had into that contest. After I won that challenge, I was invited to attend a conference in Singapore. I was going to meet the organizer of the challenge and other senior leaders of our industry, and I was invited to give a lightning talk about my challenge. This had such a big impact on my career. It literally got me started on a field that I was always interested in. It introduced me to people who could help me advance my career, and it would show me what the rest of the industry was working on, basically, like what cybersecurity at a conference looks like. Now, the reason why I'm so obsessed with opportunities is because if that opportunity wouldn't have landed on my table that day, my life would have taken potentially a very different direction. And ever since we started Black Hoodie, I've been trying to fetch opportunities as I see them coming along and hand them off to other people. That's basically how I think we can help each other best. Black Hoodie is supposed to be an opportunity for women who are interested in cybersecurity. So you have a space and time where you can attend and learn the skills that you want to learn, build the network that they need to further their career and eventually find more opportunities, and find friends and feel comfortable in the field that we're in. And yeah, as I mentioned in the beginning, I'm so super happy that events like ShaktiCon take on this mission and further this distribution of opportunities, if I can call it like that. For attendees who are listening in today and want to enter the cybersecurity field, watch out for opportunities. Watch out for things where you can contribute. Watch out for other people who might need your help. Pick up every opportunity that comes along on your way. And I say that carefully, like, of course, you can't do everything that's out there, but the first 3 years of my career, I was very busy just running after every opportunity. Eventually today, I'm a super happy security engineer at a large tech company, and my life is amazing. And I wish the same thing for everybody else out there. And my time is almost up. This was actually all of my keynote. I thank you all very much for attending, and I hope you have a great rest of the conference.
Yeah, thank you, Marion, for sharing your thoughts. I guess we have some time to take some questions right now. If any of the attendees have questions, please do write them in the chat. And yeah, we will take that up and okay. So we have a question. What online course do you recommend to get started with reverse engineering?
That is a good question. There is a whole number of reverse engineering courses out there. But actually, what helped me most getting started in the beginning was a book. There's a book called Secrets of Reverse Engineering. That is floating around as a PDF somewhere on the internet. Yeah, and there is a lot of listings in there. So what helped me a lot in the beginning was getting the basics of operating systems and binary formats and binary execution. Then what the book nicely explained was all these topics, plus it had paper listings of assembly. As I tell you this, it sounds super boring looking at assembly on paper, but it helped me just sit there with a pencil, actually, and take my notes like in the book. And yeah, that's what I recommend all of my students. And then online classes. There are different reverse engineering classes. There's one by Malware Unicorn that is focusing on malware reverse engineering. Then there's another class posted by Ophir Harpas. I forgot what the name of that was. But yeah, if you go to Google and look for reverse engineering tutorial, it should spit out the most important ones right on top. Oh, and then there was one, I'm not sure that's still online, that was hosted by Octopus Labs. That was a very good reverse engineering tutorial as well.
Okay, the next question is, who inspired you to do reverse engineering for the first time?
Oh, the challenge I talked about. Because I was working at an antivirus company, and the other analysts there knew how to reverse engineer, and I didn't. And at the time, I mean, we're all super busy. Nobody really had the time to sit down with me and teach me. But I was like, I want to learn this. So when that challenge came in, that was my time to shine. It was when I actually got really motivated to do this. So it wasn't the person, it was this challenge that got me started.
All right, any other questions? We do have a few more minutes. Programming languages required to learn in reverse engineering?
I don't think that is a necessary requirement. So I knew how to write C before I started reverse engineering. I don't think any specific programming language needs to be known, but what the student needs to understand is how programs work. I think without having written some code, it is difficult to understand how the logic of a program works. So imagine for reverse engineering, you want to reconstruct what the code originally did. So if you don't know how the code, like the code works, then it might be difficult to make that step from like, you read the assembly over here and you want to figure out what the code intends to do. Therefore, understanding code is very important. C is a very good start, I would say. But really, I think any programming language should do.
Okay. Yeah, I guess we don't have any more questions. Well, yeah, okay, this will be the last one. What kind of mental attitude do you have to keep learning all the time? How can we get past feeling like I can't learn this, I will never understand it?
Mental attitude. I guess I'm a very hard-headed individual. For me, it was curiosity that took me further and further. So for me, understanding what I was looking at was always important. You can show me any piece of code, like the B assembly, or, oh my God, show me a puzzle. I will want to figure it out. And this curiosity, I think, is what inspired me.
Yeah, I can imagine that's a tough question to say in a very short moment. Yeah, all right. Just to say, we also have a lot of men attending this final summit, and I'm sure that there was definitely a lot of takeaways. It's not just a topic that only limited to women. because men play a great role in enabling women to come up in this field. And for the next conference, when you see lone women standing on the corner of the room, maybe men should put more efforts to get them integrated into the system. And I'm also thankful to all the amazing men out there who helped me grow in this field.
Yes, definitely.
And you also mentioned about dedication, talent, and opportunity. And this is applicable to a lot of newcomers. And I guess we do have a lot of students attending this. And you stressed on the importance of all the facts. And actually, this reminded me of a teaching from our Chancellor, Amma. She always talk about Kalam, Prayatnam, and Kripa. This is time, effort, and grace. All these three should come together for any action to be successful. And this is actually very relatable to what you said as well, dedication, talent, and opportunity. Opportunity is like grace. It's not in our control. And you should always put your effort and dedication. So I am actually really very inspired, and also knowing you very personally, and you also have the status of a mentor in my life, and I know how much influence you have in so many successful women in the field of cybersecurity. I also had some key takeaways from your talk on the vision on how we can take forward ShaktiCon and what could be the limitations and problems that we could have based on your experience in BlackBerry and the glitches and the directions that you took. So I hope all the attendees also have a few takeaways and things to learn from your talk. And as I said before, on behalf of Team Shakti and the whole ShaktiCon crew and organizers and Amrita University, I would like to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much, Marion.
Thank you for having me. And it's a great project that you guys put together. It's wonderful.
All right, So let's close this event.